Hello, I'm Lauren Green. Welcome to Spirit Debate. With Holy Week in full swing for Christians and soon Passover for Jews, a new series by the Deseret News is sparking debate. The Utah-based news outlet asks, are the Ten Commandments still relevant today? And why are some of those covenantal laws still strictly observed while others seem to have been forgotten? Well, here with more is Paul Edwards, editor of the Deseret News. Welcome.
Great to be with you, Lauren.
You know, it's funny because from a modern day standpoint, a lot of people think that, the Ten Commandments are just these ancient laws handed down by a dictatorial God, thousands of years ago. So are the Ten Commandments really relevant today?
Well, they're very relevant, Lauren, because really what these are societal rules of the road. And so when people think about the importance of not lying, not cheating, not stealing, it's really from the Ten Commandments that we get these kinds of rules, this kind of guidance that allows people to live harmoniously together. So even though sometimes people don't know what the Ten Commandments are, they really do continue to guide and inform our ethical decisions.
Whenever I bring up the debate about the Ten Commandments, people say, this is just the code of Hammurabi from thousands of years before the Ten Commandments. But before I get started, I want to actually go through the list because a lot of people really don't know the Ten Commandments. The first one is, you shall have no other gods before me. It actually begins, I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make idols. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. Not steal. Not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you shall not covet. Now, of course, remember three of those because they're on our civil laws. You can't murder and you can't steal, and of course, false witness is just perjury. So, explain basically how these are relevant. The first four, because the first four really have to do with your relationship with God. How does that work in today's modern society?
Well, I think what we find, Lauren, is that most Americans are very concerned about their relationship with God. The surveying that we've done here at the Deseret News and other many national surveys indicate things such as the vast majority of Americans pray daily. Something like 57% of Americans say that prayer is an important part of their daily life. So a relationship with God is a vital part of Americans' lives, and so having some guidance about what that means is important to know. What is it that the Scriptures, the Judeo-Christian tradition, the Abrahamic tradition has preserved as an important part of our lives?
Well, how have people reacted to this series?
Well, this has been a very popular series. It's actually the second year that we've done this. And as we look at what matters to people in contemporary society, different things pop out, and people are a little surprised by some of the findings. So in a world where there is a tremendous amount of acceptance in recent years of certain kinds of sexual practices, adultery continues to be a real no-no in our society. That is, a lot of people continue to see this as being unfaithful to a spouse to whom you've made that commitment is a gross violation of ethical norms. And that is, we found that last year. This year we looked at it in terms of what does it mean when there is a breach of that trust? Should one stay or go? And what we've discovered is that although it's a terrible breach of trust, there may be ways for people to heal and preserve those relationships.
Are people asking if certain laws of the Ten Commandments, are they more important than others?
Well, we didn't really put it in that comparative perspective, but we do see, I think, that like you noted at the beginning, when we talk about things like the pieces of civil law, the things that say don't lie, cheat, or steal, those resonate with people, but we're finding in a digital age that it's very easy now to lie, cheat, and steal. It's very easy to steal another person's words and pretend that they're our own through plagiarism. It's much easier to cheat on a spouse emotionally, if not physically, because of some of the ways that the internet facilitates that kind of cheating.
No.
So, are they important? Behaviorally, I think what you do find is that people still aspire to live by these kinds of ethical norms. They want to stay within these guidelines, but there's a tremendous amount of temptation because of opportunity presented by things like the digital environment that we live in.
What is the most common comment you've had about the Ten Commandments?
Well, I think appreciation is one of the common things that we get, is that people are saying, one thing is reminding them of what the commandments are, but then also an appreciation that, yes, these are relevant and important in our family, and it's interesting to see how other people are observing these. So with a piece like we did profiling an Orthodox Jewish family about their reverence for keeping the Sabbath day holy, if you think about what it is that we lack in contemporary society, it's like time and time to have good relationships. The Sabbath day for this family provides the precise kind of structure that helps to preserve time for the family and time for healing those relationships. Get so caught up in contemporary life.
I've got to bring up real quickly, though, there have been so many controversies about the Ten Commandments being taken down from courthouses and from public buildings. Has there been any discussion on that level?
Well, we didn't probe that particular issue. I think, as a cultural feature, these commandments inform so much of our culture, so much of our legal tradition. I think, personally, I think it's appropriate that we continue to remember the importance that it plays within a tradition that honors a rule of law and sees all individuals as equal before that law. And so I appreciate that there is a controversy over having the words about deity in the first few commandments in certain kinds of public settings. But this continues to be an important part of our cultural fabric, and I think we can recognize it as such.
Very interesting stuff. If you want to check out the Deseret News, you can check out the series on the Ten Commandments on their website, thedeseretnews.com. Thank you so much. Paul Edwards, editor of the Deseret News. Thanks for being on Spirited Debate.
Thank you so much, Lauren.